Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, the very latest kit from ICM in the Ukraine. Something a bit unusual as well. They seem to be getting into creating a lot of interesting World War II and earlier vehicles, and here we've got a classic example of an and earlier. So it's a 1930s Model A standard Phaeton soft top. Now this is quite an interesting car. I'm not an expert, of course, on my American cars, I have to be honest with you. Some of you out there will be more au fait with this one, especially in the States, I think, than I am. Of course, it's a Ford Model A. But this is a car that I know was a big, not as widely manufactured as the Model T perhaps, but still a very big seller for them, and got sold all over the world and huge sales in the USA in the 1930s. So it's quite an important car. So why don't we take a look? Let's just zoom in again so you can have another look at this. The only thing that made me chuckle when I looked at the artwork, which is excellent by the way, no criticism here, but I did look at this house in the background, and it's completely, every part of the house is unpainted natural wood. And I just wonder how long that would last. I know that you get a lot of wooden houses in the States, very common of course, because they don't have the sort of the rain and the weather that we have perhaps in Northern Europe or even Central Europe. But whether they'd have the whole house like that completely unpainted, I'm not sure about. I think that might need a lick of paint. But the car looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it? Beautiful, the red wheels as well, absolutely fantastic. So let's just have a look at this. So it's model kit number 24 because it's a 24 scale, of course, 24050. And I'm just wondering whether, you know, those of you that are into your aircraft, whether you could integrate this 24 scale Ford into a scene with a 24 scale Mustang, for example. It's an idea, isn't it? Anyway, there's lots of other 24 scale kits, of course, around, but just one that's struck me as being a possibility. So let's have a look on the side. What have we got? We have, oh okay, so they've got it in different trims, in different colours for different cities. I'm not sure if that was a rule, probably not. But maybe, you know, Henry Ford was renowned for, you can have any colour as long as it's black. So the Ohio one seems to be black. Then we've got the Michigan one, 1931, with this very, very pale green, almost like a pale olive green, with a sort of a fawny coloured top, soft top. And then finally the New York one, which is the one that's pictured on the front. It's rather racy, sort of a dark navy blue, and it's got a black roof, tonneau colour. And it says on the side here, I'll zoom you back for this. It's nice, isn't it? Look, the paint job does look great, I've got to say. It says on the side, first model of the legendary passenger car Model A, first version of the Model A from ICM. Accurate reproduction of the geometry and proportional dimensions of the real car. The model has a high level of detail of the engine, suspension, interior and the body. The assembled model will beautifully decorate the interior of the office or your writing desk. Okay. 3 colour scheme options and decal with license plates for the American states. Very nice. 203 parts, quite a few parts. So let's have a look at it then. Get my trusty knife out and we'll see what we've got. When I saw this one was coming up and I thought, it'd be quite interesting to have a look at, wouldn't it? Something a little bit different. A Model A. Not a car I'm personally familiar with, but I bet you guys in the States, I bet you very, very familiar with this machine. Or certainly your sort of grandparents would have been very familiar with it, I think. If they could, maybe some of them could even afford one, because obviously cars were not so common in those days. Let us see what we have got. So, using the trusty gloves, because they help me with ICM kits to get the lids off, and very much so. And boxes in the box as normal. And here we go. So, the roof looks nice. Let's have a look what we've got. Now then, over there for a second. We have got a colour set recommending olive green. I'm quite sure that's the right one for this particular vehicle, but anyway, there is a paint set that ICM offer with paint set 3048, and you've got dark blue or deep sky blue as the options. And it also comes with a satin varnish, a matte varnish or a gloss varnish to make up the 5 that are in the set. So, okay. So I'm guessing these were two of the most popular colours then. So when I said sky blue, I don't actually see any sky blue on the scheme, but we'll look at that in a second. Yeah, gets that. Let's have a look at this first then. Oh, decals. Let's look at those. Always like to start with these, and we've got some American plates here. I think some of my friends in the States are going to like this. Look at this. Hey, look at that. Look at that. So, we've got the Indiana, California, and Penna, Michigan. Oh, I've got a whole set of them. There's actually 6. You've got New York on the right, top right. Then you've got the Ohio ones in the middle, top middle. Then you've got the Michigan ones. Then you've got Penna. You have to forgive my geography isn't very good. Is that, where is Penna? Is that not California, is it? Is that Louisiana or something like that? Indiana or California. Look at that. Complete with all the Ford. Zoom in a bit more. Complete with the Ford roundels here. Look. Absolutely brilliant for the bonnet. Look at that. Those are nice, aren't they? Oh, that's very good. Okay. Zoom me back. He says, it'll zoom to work. Let's have a look at what we've got in the instructions then. There then. So, sprue map at the beginning, as is normal with ICM. Looks like you're going to use pretty much everything. I guess there's not going to be that many variants on this. No, indeed not. In fact, you're going to use the lot. So there's no exclusions that are noted here. And then you start off, especially with these older vehicles like trucks and cars from the 30s, 40s, 50s, with a traditional steel chassis, and it's like a traditional sort of rail chassis where you've got the main members and then cross members going in across, sport members at the front and rear, and then you've got the various mounting points here for all of the ultimate body to sit on. Then we start with our engine block. You can see that, okay. Engine block coming in here, and then you've got the sump, which is a very nice separate part there, oil sump. And then we've got all the various parts of your engine. Starts with the transmission, going onto the crank, the bell crank end of the transmission, flywheel I should say. That goes into the main engine attaching there. Cylinder head on top. Obviously these are quite a simple one valve, 2 valves per cylinder, one inlet outlet, very simple. And a carburetor on the top. We've got a water pump going on there. We've got the carburetor on the side on this one. Yeah, the carburetor goes in on the side. And then you've got your various hoses going in. You've got the alternator, very easy to spot. Oops. Easy to spot the alternator there, and then you get your drive belts for the alternator and the cooling fan, all connected together. And it's just a 2-bladed fan, in fact, isn't it? That's interesting. Just a twin-bladed fan. Nothing fancy. I know that as years go on, you should get more and more blades on these fans, don't you? Then you got your transmission, or drive shaft, I should say, going in here to the differential at the back. Does it have a separate differential? Yeah, it does have a differential. And then you got the drive. These are actually the drive that you've already put in, the drive shafts basically. Rear wheel drive, of course. Exhaust system here. A bit on the slant today for some reason. And then you've got your main chassis members there. You've got leaf springs supporting the front of the chassis. You've got the disc brakes. What am I saying? Drum brakes, I mean. The drum brakes going on here. I don't think disc brakes have been invented for another 20 or 30 years. Or certainly weren't in use anyway. And then you've got all the various support levers and brackets on the side. Same on this side. And then again you've got your disc brakes going. I've done it again, drum brakes. Ugh. Can't get off disc brakes off my tongue. Disc brakes going on the other side, and then again you got these are the support arms that are going to support the actual body coachwork, as they would call it, going on the top. And again here more supports for the coachwork coming in. And what's that part of the exhaust? Is that the exhaust? Or is that the breather part? I think it's the engine breather going in here. And then you've got your various more rails that are going to help support give reinforcement to these supports for the actual coachwork that's yet to come. And then you've got bracing. You've got a bracing section here, and the actual steering rack arm that connects the two front wheels. And then you've got your wheels and tyres coming on here. Looks very simple. Interested to see what they're like. Not metallised, I hope. And then we've got the bodywork starts here. So now we start with first of all the sort of floor section, as it were, of the body, complete with the mudguards, wings, and then there's like an underfloor protector, and that then goes on like an entire floor section onto the chassis, running chassis or rolling chassis here. It might be zoomed in a little bit too much. Zoom back a bit. There we go. And then you've got your front supports for the front bumper or fender, as you guys would say in America. And then we start to build up our dashboard here. So we've got the dash and scuttle area being built up, front bulkhead. You're then going to create the front side panels, the sort of front wings, if you will. And then you've got the top of the scuttle on top of that section going in there. But various things like, it looks like I think it's the oil cap goes on the top. Or actually, it might be the washer bottle, if indeed it has windscreen wipers. I'm not quite sure yet. Then we have got the steering column and the brake pedal, accelerator and clutch pedal. And then you bring in all that assembly. That's going to come down onto the main bodywork as it's now been assembled here. And then you get your side panels. So you've got internal and external front and rear doors going in on the wings. I'm guessing they don't open then because they're not configured to open. And then you've also got the rear sort of, I'm going to say trunk, but I don't know if it's got much of a trunk on this. I guess it's got some, but I don't think it has a lot trunk space. And then you've got your radiator for the front, cooling radiator coming in there. Your bodywork goes in onto there. And then you've got this side grille for cooling reasons. Quite a lot of open cooling, because these engines were generating quite a bit of heat. And of course, we talk about USA, can be very hot, especially in the southern states. And then you've got various, like the catches going on there. And then you're going to start building up your interior. You've got your different marking options. What's that? Marking up for option 1, option 2. Oh, some slight modifications. I think it's a difference in the cooling. What was I just saying? So I guess for Michigan and perhaps the northern states, it has a bit less cooling panel. And in the southern states, as I mentioned, where it's hotter, they have much more open cooling panels. Then you're going to create your sofa, sort of sedan sofa type rear seat. That's going to go in there. And then you're going to have the hood, or the bonnet, as we say in the UK. That's going to go in, and then your front seats, so the seat squab's going to go in there. And then you've got the sort of divider behind. There's like a rear wall to the front seats going in here, and then the rear seat squab. Oh, sorry, the front seat rear squab, I should say. Your back to lean back on goes in there. And of course, these were just they weren't single seats. They were just right the way across, like a sofa style. Then you're putting in your steering wheel and your indicator stalks. I think these an automatic? No, they weren't. It's a manual gear change. You can see it there. And then we've got things like the mirror going on here, and there's actually, I think, the vanity mirror for the passenger. Or is that? No, that I think it's not a vanity mirror. I think that's the actual manual control for the wipers. Is that right? Does it have wipers? I think it does. Anyway, I'll find out in a minute. There you go on there. Then you've got your handbrake. Actually, the handbrake system actually going on there. That's quite good, isn't it? Operates on one side. And you've got your headlights being built up here, and you've got your, is that the instrumentation? What is that? Oh no, sorry, it's the rear light. Beg your pardon. Rear light and the number plate mounting there. Or number plate face of the plate, if you were. And then you've got your rear fenders going on, rear bumpers, and your indicator lights, rear lights all going in here, and then your headlights being created there. they're going on. Put those on the front, and the front fender ultimately goes on at the front to finish it off. Then we're on to the roof. So we've got roof, we've got like a little rear window, clear rear window. I think whether it had actually glass in that, I think it probably did actually have glass in those days. A small glass rear window, and you've got the hoop supports for the folding roof going in here. And then ultimately you bring the side bars onto it, side support bars that give it the torsional strength. And then that's it, you put your roof on and pretty much job done, and there you go, there is your Ford Model A. Isn't that nice? It does it. I was right about the wiper, by the way. Yes, if you look here you can actually see the wiper. It is manually operated, it's like a little turn wheel, you just wipe it. That must have been hard work. You wouldn't want that in the UK, I can tell you. you'd be have very sore arms wiping it manually, I can tell you. So there's actually two versions, an inside mask and an outside mask for the windscreen. Isn't that good? Now it's a mask template, not a mask itself. Remember, ICM do not provide masks, which is a bit of a shame. Now I'm not going to be critical about this because I don't have that much experience on their glasswork. But I know that some of the templates that have been in some of these kits previously have not always been exactly dead accurate in terms of the millimetre perfect of the glass. So just be a bit wary. I think on this it's a little bit less critical and you see straight away. But on the kits with a lot of glasswork, yeah, best check it first. Or get a mask set, an aftermarket mask set. Anyway, so we've got our three marking options here. And we have got, oops, a bit closer. What have we got? We got this is the Ohio option, a standard Phaeton, and this has got gold wheels. That's quite cool, isn't it? That looks like possibly a very rich, affluent American's got that one. And then we've got, again with gold wheels, we've got this one that's this this paler. You got like a fawn roof and like a very pale brown style colour to it. Again, looks like the sort of thing that an affluent person would have. And then maybe New Yorkers, you know, we've got some slightly louder, no offence to New Yorkers, slightly louder, perhaps a little bit brasher, perhaps a little bit more for the city, a little bit brighter, shall we say, and a bit more exciting colours in the blue with the red wheels. Wow, well, it looks really good, doesn't it? I didn't mean that New Yorkers were brash, so Joe Shank and all you other guys don't shout at me. Can't forget what I say. It's a minefield. It's not talking about Boy Scouts this week. Right, okay, moving on. Yeah, I can't get over that. That was quite funny. But anyway, let's have a look what we got in the bag. I hope it's not one of these. I'm just going to show this slowly as I pull it out, because some of these ICM kits, I remember, was it the German staff car, the six-wheeler? That I had a terrible nightmare trying to get it back in the bag and the box. It was like a jack in the box. Once it was out, that was it. Didn't want to go back in at all. So I'm doing this slowly so I can watch this over and over to remind me how to pack it back in. So you see that? It's that way. That's on top. That's underneath. Whoops! Careful. Then we've got the glasswork there. And then we've got these screws. Oh yes, they're back together. Okay. Like that. And then we've got those at the bottom. Right, I think that's enough of that. Let's have a look at them then. So, just by my control. Let's have a look. And if you just, can you just excuse me 1 second, because I've just got a slight, I just want to make sure that we don't run out of power, and I've realised I've got my plug lead here, and it's not actually connected to the camera, so I'm just going to plop that into its socket, and then we have no more problems there. Right, there we go. I just had a warning said I've got 10 minutes of power left, and I thought, we don't want any of that. Right, so, oh yes, this is going to be quite impressive. So we've got the side, starting off with the bodywork here, in the centre it's got the running boards, as they're called, the grippy areas for foot grip. I have to tell you, if I'm honest, again, this is not a criticism, but that's not quite the same as it is in the picture. In the picture it has like a rubber plate, which maybe, does that go over the top? Didn't notice that. Perhaps it was an option. Can you see what I mean here? There's like a rubber plate over the top of it, like a metal plate with a rubber lining for you, perhaps to stop people scuffing up the metal, whereas here it's more like it looks more like industrial flooring that you get on stairs and things like that, and you get on ships as well, of course, don't you? Or military vehicles. So I don't know if that's I'm not sure if that's an error or if there's another part that goes on the top of that. I don't recall it. Anyway, the moulding and the sort of shaping is very, very elegant, isn't it? It's a nice looking machine, this. It's a really nice oldie worldy car. Then here you've got your parts of your engine, and also the side, actually the rear doors, I think, isn't it? Yeah, it's the rear doors here. The way they sort of flute up at the back end, at the top. That's where the handle is. Very nice. That's cool. And then of course we've got our chassis member rail, side rail here. And again, over on the other side, chassis rail over there. Okay. By the way, I am consciously trying to be a little bit slower with presenting my sprues. Not because I need to slow down personally, but I have noticed in one or two of the recent, it's not so bad when I've been doing things like books, but when I've been doing sprues and the figures recently, this camera, I've said before, it's a brilliant camera and I'm very loath to move it on or change it. But it's just a bit slow in its focus, and I sort of go like that. And because I'm some distance away from the little screen, I can see that it's on the screen and it's in position perfectly. But what I can't really tell at this range is how in focus it is. And then I watch the playback and I think, it was just getting into focus as I pull it out and then get the next one out, you know. So I'm conscious of this now. I'm much more conscious of it, and I'm trying to work around my camera a little bit. I mean, the focus, once it is in focus, is absolutely phenomenal, as you know. So I'm just going to try and be a bit slower and let it dwell and give that autofocus a bit more chance to zoom in for us. So here we've got lots of the bodywork and the seats. Yeah, look at these seat squabs, aren't they nice? Look at that. Good, isn't it? Very comfy looking, very comfy looking. And then we've got the rear. This is the rear, sort of rear trunk, and you've got the floor, and then you have got the some of these. It's hard to tell actually at this point, but some of these are the back of the seats, and some is the squab of the seat that you sit on. So it's a little bit hard to tell the difference, but they look very comfortable. I think actually that these are the bit you sit on, because they've deliberately made them look a little bit worn, perhaps, where it takes your weight. I think that is the way it works. And I think the back is a bit bigger than this, yeah, because it's smaller as well, dimensionally slightly smaller than the bit you sit on compared to the back, which goes to the side a bit more, as you can see. And then over here we've got some of these parts of the chassis that's then going to support the fenders and some of the bodywork. Beautiful moulding. There's nothing. If you look at these wings here, when you can see the doors. Come back a fraction for that one. You can see there you've got the position there for the door handles. Very, very nicely moulded, isn't it? And then here you've got the doors themselves. I think this is the front door, rear door, I think. And that's got the actual handle moulded into it just near my thumb there. Nice, isn't it? Very nice. Okay, that's that one. Put that in there. Next one, we've got a lot of the front end, the business end as it were, including the hood, or the bonnet, as we say in the UK. And I think it's a folding hood on these. They normally split down the middle. They haven't depicted it that you can have it with a split on this particular vehicle, but I think that's the Henry Ford thing, that it doesn't need to be opened very often because it's very reliable. Well, that's true or not, I'm not sure in those days, but anyway. Then you've got the grille, and you've got the outer front grille, which is going to be, you'll need to chrome this, make it nice and chromed all the way around the outside. And your Henry Ford motif Ford goes in the middle. And then you've got the rear here, that's the rear of the... Is that the rear of the hood? Or is that underneath? I'm not quite sure now looking at it. Almost looks like the rear... No, it can't be, can it? No, I think that's the floor, part of the floor at the back. And then you've got these grilled side engine cowlings. And as I mentioned, there are two different types because of, I think in certain states they had more cooling grills, a little bit more vented. And here we've got the brake drums, and we've got our headlight arrangement, which is very cool, isn't it? Look at that, nicely mounted that is. Look at that, isn't that nice? Very good. And we've got the suspension here with the leaf springs. Here you got your drive shaft to the differential. All very nice, excellent. Then we've got two of these. It's actually the wheels. Now I have to say that it's very nicely done. This, isn't it? I like that. Yes, that's very cool. And they've wisely not gone for any chroming, which is almost looks a bit naff, I think. So you paint these yourself, and I think they'll paint it really nicely, especially if you go for the red. It's very cool. Or the gold, actually. The gold is quite nice as well, isn't it? And you've got some more brake drums. And various other rails and small components there as well, but those are nice wheels. So they've got two of those. And then we have got the all the ancillary parts of the chassis and the various connectors and support rails, and you've got bits of your carburetors. Here you've got the, just getting focus, that's the brake master cylinder, I think, and you've got things like the alternator I think is here, the body of the alternator, and yeah, there's the end of the alternator there. There's the fan, just a twin bladed fan, interestingly. Yeah, and then we've got the fan belt here, and you've got various rails and bits of the support rails for the roof. Some very fine parts, aren't they? Lovely steering wheel. Look at the steering wheel here. Isn't that nice? That is very cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and then finally, well, we haven't actually got to the tyres or the clear parts. So, last of the grey sprues, we've got our rear sort of roof stroke. I mean, it is part of the roof with the window in it, and then the roof itself, which is here, which has got this nice sort of canvas style effect to it. Sort of, you see the stretching over the support rails. My camera's struggling a little bit here. Stretching over the support rails, and then you've got all the various support rails themselves over here and over here. Isn't that nice? Then we've got clear parts. Now recently ICM's clear parts have seemed to have got better and better and better, so I'm hoping these are going to be good, which they usually are. Let's just see. Well, if I was to be ultra picky, and I am being ultra picky on this, there is a little bit, yeah, there is distortion. I'm not sure if you can actually, show you that. If I can show you the distortion when I zoom it in, I'll show you this like so. If I zoom it right in, you might be able to see the distortion. A bit distorty. However, that said, it's very nice, to be fair. You've got that windscreen wiper, so that's the front as you see it now. And then you've got this side. They're actually side mirrors, aren't they? I think they're air deflectors actually. They're actually air deflectors to stop the draft from hitting the front passengers, driver and passenger. You've got your headlights there, of course, and your little mirror, and the rear lights. So yeah, it's really nice. It's just a little bit distorted, but it's nice and clear. It's very bright looking. Sort of wheel it back a bit, and again put some colour in front of it, and you can see it's a nice bit of glass there. There is just some very tiny imperfection. I'm being very picky now, but there is a little bit of imperfection in here. It's not quite up to the standard we saw on the Marauder, Can you see that imperfection? Maybe it's picking up on the camera as well. Sort of just left of the wiper as you're looking at it. There's a little bit of something in the mould, I think. There, see it? But I'm being picky. I don't think on the finished model, you know, at normal ranges that's visible. And ICM's, let's say, glass is getting very nice now. Certainly better than people at Mini Art, who's, you know, they've not quite got their glass right, I'm afraid, at the moment, from what I've seen recently on those Thunderbolts. But that is very nice. More than adequate quality, I think, that one. And then finally, we've just got the tyres. Now, they are rubber ones this time. I would like to see them not do rubber on these model cars, if I'm honest. I think they'd be better just moulding it in... I would have thought it'd be cheaper, actually, for them, as a manufacturer, to actually mould it in straight into plastic. Because you don't get any weight on wheels benefit with rubber. Bring that in a bit closer. There we go. Now we can see the tread. Closer. There we go. See the treads now. There's no writing on them, which ICM do tend to avoid, which is a bit of a shame, really. I'd like to know. I'm presuming it would be Goodyear. I'm guessing, because they're an Akron, Ohio Goodyear, aren't they? And I suspect they'd be the tyre manufacturer of the day. They are very nice tyres. You can see that tread is really, really excellent, actually. See that? It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure how they fit on the wheels. I suspect they'll be okay. But I say I would prefer it longer term if they were to move away from rubber tyres, because I think that it's kind of an old school way of doing things, to be honest. So there we go. So that is the standard Phaeton Model A soft top. I think there's going to be later versions of this, maybe with the hard top version. I think maybe coming in as well. So, what do we think of that then? Any criticisms? Well, I think the glasswork could have been just a little bit better. The design is lovely, but the something, I don't know if it's in the mould or if it's in the actual, when the plastic's just set, but something not quite as perfect as it has been recently. That Marauder we saw was absolutely superb, you know. So it's not quite as good as that standard that we had recently. And the rubber tyres, I think I'm just going to knock half a point on. I think any more than half a point would be kind of unfair, I think. So I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10, because I think it's a very affordable kit, this. I think it's retailing around about the £30 or just under mark in the UK. And, you know, you can make yourself quite a nice sort of, you know, they do a few of these 24 scale car kits now. I think there's more to come. So you can actually do yourself a nice sort of you can almost imagine these being used in a sort of gangster scene, Al Capone era, you know. So I think that actually you could, yeah, you could use the kit in all sorts of ways, really, or maybe have it with a Mustang or something. Mustang test flight, widely used all over the States for years afterwards. 24 scale, quite a big car. So a very nice one. So that's 9.5 out of 10 from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you agree with my score. Hope you'll give me a thumbs up. Give me a 10 out of 10. And we have other things from ICM coming in the not too distant future, so please stay tuned. And we'll try and get those to you as soon as we possibly can. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please stay well, stay safe. And until next time, thanks very much. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.